we have a very special video for you today.
Yeah, we do.
We're not taking the camera anywhere, but we're going to tell you the story of the Charlie Brown Christmas cartoon.
Yeah.
Now, I had read about this and wanted to tell it to you, based on an article that did a lot of research. And one of the things that I had heard was that when Charles Schulz suggested that he include the reading from Linus from the book of Luke in the Bible, that the powers that be, the CBS, I guess it was, didn't want him to use that in the show, in the cartoon. And he didn't want to do it if they didn't do that. So when I looked it up, I found 3 stories that did not include that story. And I thought, maybe I didn't hear it right. Maybe I got it wrong. And then I found an article in New York Magazine, and it told the whole story, and it included that part. So Robin and I have reworked it to make it our own, and we want to tell you the story. So forgive us for looking at our teleprompters, but we want to tell you the story. This is such an interesting story, not just the part about Luke, but also the jazz music and the children that were used.
Yeah. And the writing of the children's dialogue, that was very interesting also.
Yes. Well, Charles Schulz was known, I think he was famous more for his writing than for the actual art of the cartoon, which is interesting. But yes, he was a very amazing writer, told some interesting, insightful stories in his cartoon strip. But anyway, so this is the story behind a Charlie Brown Christmas cartoon.
Okay.
Back in 1965, the show's producer, Lee Mendelson, had a failed documentary idea about the life of Charles Schulz, the creator of Peanuts. But none of the existing networks were interested. Keep in mind, there were only like 3 networks, right?
Yeah,
CBS,
right.
NBC,
Sure.
ABC, and maybe PBS, I'm not sure. Anyway, Charlie Brown and the gang appeared on the cover of Time magazine that year, which changed everything.
Coca-Cola's ad agency, McCann Erickson, caught wind of this and approached Mendelson with the idea for a holiday special. The thing is, Mendelson hadn't even discussed it with Charles Schulz yet.
No, they were having discussions about it, and they didn't even talk to him.
Yeah.
So when Mendelson called Charles Schulz he told him about the Charlie Brown Christmas, which Charles Schulz then said, "What is that? What is that?"
Yeah.
And then Mendelson said to him, the funny line, "It's something you're going to write tomorrow."
That's when Schulz and Mendelson teamed up with animator Bill Melendez. The 3 of them sat down with Schulz in Sebastopol, California. Schulz wanted the show to focus on the stress of putting on a Christmas play, and Mendelson suggested adding a sad tree inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's The Fir Tree.
For the music, the team approached up-and-coming jazz musician Vince Guaraldi. Today, a household name, right?
Oh, yeah, the Vince Guaraldi Trio. I love that.
And they were Mendelson was taken by the song Cast Your Fate to the Wind. He thought it had the right flavor for the cartoon they were making.
But when they played the introduction song as the children skated on the frozen pond, one of my favorite scenes, by the way, Mendelson realized it was way too slow and solemn. It was missing something. He sat down at his kitchen table and he wrote out the words to "Christmas Time is Here" on an envelope.
Guaraldi enlisted the Children's Choir of St. Paul's Episcopal Church in San Rafael, California, to sing the song.
Well, lyrics for the song or not, the CBS executives didn't think that jazz belonged in a cartoon.
No. So they put together an outline. They shipped it to Atlanta, which is the headquarters, and then they got the news that they were accepted, but they only had 6 months to deliver the animated special.
Well, halfway through, a McCann executive showed up, but he was not impressed with the slow pacing. They assured him it would improve with music and color. CBS executives didn't think jazz belonged in a cartoon, and they questioned Schultz's decision to use untrained children for the voices.
One of the most endearing parts of the whole cartoon,
yeah.
right? Plus, the network couldn't believe that kids were using big words. Remember, this is how Charles Schulz always wrote. And Lucy, for example, in the cartoon says, "We all know that Christmas is a big commercial racket. It's run by a big Eastern syndicate, you know," right?
Yeah. Or you have Charlie Brown saying, "Don't think of it as dust. Think of it as maybe the soil of some great past civilization. Maybe the soil of ancient Babylon. It staggers the imagination. Maybe carrying soil that was trod upon by Solomon or even Nebuchadnezzar."
This, despite the fact that for about 15 years, Peanuts characters always spoke with advanced vocabularies.
Schultz even got pushback from his own team. Mendelsohn suggested a laugh track would save the show. Schultz responded by standing up, and he walked right out of the room.
Oh, my gosh. Then when Schultz, by the way, Schultz was a Sunday school teacher, he suggested that Linus should recite from the Gospel of Luke in the Bible. Mendelssohn and Melendez thought that was not a good idea. Mendelssohn, in Recollections for the article, he said, "We looked at each other and said, well, there goes our careers right down the drain."
Nobody had ever animated anything from the Bible before, and they just knew that it probably would not work.
So when CBS finally saw the finished product, they thought it was doomed. They said it was too slow, there was no action, it was amateurish voicing, and the jazz just didn't work. But they had to air it because Coca-Cola had already paid for it.
And the rest is history. When A Charlie Brown Christmas aired at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on December 9th, 1965, half of American television viewers tuned in. The reviews, they were outstanding. Washington Post TV critic Lawrence Laurent wrote, "Good old Charlie Brown, a natural-born loser, finally turned up a winner."
CBS immediately ordered 4 more specials. The show won a Peabody Award and an Emmy Award, and in the end, Schultz, Mendelssohn, and Melendez wound up making about 50 Peanuts programs together, most of them for CBS.
And Mendelssohn is quoted as saying, "We did whatever we wanted to, and in our business, that's craziness. We did one program on cancer. We did another one on war. We were just given a free ticket for half a century and tried to honor that by being entertaining, but also being important and educational."
So that's the story behind A Charlie Brown Christmas, and hopefully you've enjoyed hearing that. And it makes me wonder about the other programs that they put together. I think I've seen the Thanksgiving one. Maybe there was a Valentine's Day one I saw. And I know the Great Pumpkin, so I know the Halloween one.
Yeah. Oh, they went to camp at one time. Yeah, great stuff.
So
great
there's
stuff.
A bunch. I need to look them up, and I love the little children reading those lines. There's just nothing like it, and I think the voice of Linus reading from the Book of Luke is inside of all of our heads. We all know that. We probably know that verse from the Bible because of that cartoon.
I think so. Yeah, I do. I think so.
All right. Well, thanks for listening or for watching, depending on where you are, and. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. God bless you all.